Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Thank you for joining us tonight for He Say, She Say Family Coach Live. I am your host, Shar, founder of Law for Love, the most special place in the legal system in Atlanta. And I am blessed and honored to share some thoughts with you tonight. Hey, family, He Say, She Say is about building stronger communities by beginning with stronger families. As a family lawyer and navigating thousands of families through legal processes, I've heard it all. I've heard what men are saying about their wives. I heard what wives are saying about their husbands. And the benefit that you have here at He Say, She Say is to get ahead of those trends that are harming us and not helping us. And so tonight, I'm coming for the ladies. I'm coming for you, ladies. I'm coming for you. And I was actually like super tickled as I was going through aspects of this particular thought process. So because I'm getting on us as the ladies, I have learned how to really laugh at myself. And I hope that the biggest takeaway that you can have from tonight's conversation is, ladies, let's laugh at ourselves, because we're going to talk tonight and give you 3 tips on how to get out of your feelings and into your man's box. So the foundation for tonight's conversation, I just want to make sure that you are aware, for the record, that 100% of men who I work with through family conflict all say the same thing. And I actually had to put here, my own husband is included in this, in this number. They all believe that women are crazy. And a lot of times in my work, I'm able to get a lot of work done with the men in our space because I don't argue with them on this point. Look, I'm like, you know what? You're right. So, and I'll ask you ladies to stay with me here so that we can get an understanding together why it is that men feel that women are crazy. So men are 100% correct for reaching this conclusion. And if you just bear with me, I'm going to show you exactly why the men are correct. And when you understand this reason why, then communicating with your man completely changes. And one of the biggest pitfalls that we can fall into as women when being confronted by the man in our life that we are crazy, we sound crazy, they do not understand us, trying to prove to him that you're not crazy is actually counterproductive. And all it's going to do in his mind is convince him he was right, that you're crazy. So, the path of least resistance is to just go ahead and accept that the men are right. And here's why. So many, many moons ago, way before I even considered, or was ever even dating or desiring to be married, I wish I could remember this minister's name. There was this event that I kind of happened upon in Deerfield Beach, Florida. A minister of the gospel out of the Deerfield Beach area was teaching on marriage. And this thing that he taught about the difference between the way women think and the difference between men think was completely game changer for me. So you know what? And Sister Coco G, look. This is where we have the most fun in my house, where I just lean into it and I'm like, yeah, I'm crazy. Now what? So we have tons of fun with it here at our house. And so he said that women are like a ball of wires, but I'm calling it spaghetti. Like I'm a foodie. I'm gonna talk about spaghetti here when I talk about the ball of wires. He said that in a woman's mind, everything is connected, everything is related to each other. But what makes it so different from the way that a man's mind works is that men have boxes, and that's what I'm calling the waffle here. So women, we are the jumble of wires or the spaghetti, and our men, they're waffles, box heads. They are box heads. And when we understand that about them, we can be so much more kind to them when we're talking to them. Because men compartmentalize. Our minds don't work like that, ladies. Just like naturally, they don't work like that. Now, is it something that we can learn how to do? Absolutely. Is it something we could train ourselves how to be more effective when we're trying to reach our men? Absolutely. But for a man, his default setting is he can only discuss one thing at a time. And there's only one thing that goes in each box, right? So if you try to put 2 or 3 things in one box, it's not working. It's one subject per box. And I like to think about it like, everything is separate. All of the boxes are separate. And it's similar to like somebody, I'm not like this, but I've seen people who eat this way. It tickles me. But some people, when they put their food, different items on the plate, they don't want their food touching. That is how the man's mind is structured. He has a box for each subject. Now, what was absolutely amazing, right? So I started with the men because this is super duper simple. But what was absolutely amazing, what this brother was teaching about the way that men think, was the nothing box. So he's like, men even have a box with nothing in it, and it's intended to be the nothing box. And I found myself laughing during this particular teaching because I know that women, we tend to like roll up on the men in our lives. I don't care if it's your man, your brother, one of your sons. And it's like, what you thinking about? And his response is nothing. And you're like, no, really, what do you think about? Why won't you tell me what you're thinking about? No. The brother broke down that men really do have a box with nothing in it. And it's intentional, nothing. It's just their nothing box. And they like their nothing box. And according to this one particular brother, men like to spend a lot of time in this box because of the pleasure that the box brings. I mean, look, ladies, I'm just telling you what the brothers told me. But I have tested it and I have found it to be very, very valid. So I am sharing what I learned. So I started with men because men are so simple. They have the box, one thing in each box, and the boxes don't touch. What makes us different and what drives men crazy about trying to understand us is that our minds are the spaghetti. Everything is created is a big jumble of wires. Most men have challenges really understanding the way we think, or like picking out the information that they need out of the way that we express ourselves, unless they have a high comfort level with growing up with a bunch of women, a lot of aunties, or they've been trained or work very closely with women. But generally speaking, this jumble of wires, the way that we think and process information, drives men up a wall when we are expressing ourselves out of the spaghetti. So for us, everything is related. Like there's a connection to everything. Like we can feel and have an emotional zip tie that connects every incident or every situation to something else that we can relate it to. And that's just our natural wiring. But men call it crazy, but I call it a gift. It's just what makes us different. And when we understand that that's what's driving them crazy, then we have a whole lot of superpower to do a better job reaching them and communicating with them in a way that makes sense for them, that's meaningful for them. So let me check in on the sisters real quick. What you say, Sister Princess? Crazy and sane. Yes, because we know what we're talking about. Like, look, I might be crazy, but I know what I'm saying. So, what'd you say here, Auntie? Just like what I'm doing. Exactly. What are you doing? Nothing. nothing box drives us crazy because we always have something going on, ladies. We just do. Like, it's our default state. It's our happy place. We always got something going on. So that's me when I just walk away because the silence. I'm saying, like, okay, so we're not talking about anything. So you just go hang out in your box right now, like that's okay. Let me go busy myself with something because there is no nothing box in our space. Like, that does not exist. That is so confusing for us. But we're here to get on the brothers tonight. We're here to get on the ladies tonight. We're advocating for the brothers because the brothers want us to do a better job communicating with them, right? So our spaghetti drives them crazy. And thinking in their box is very, very natural to them. It's very, very simple to them. It makes sense. And what makes us crazy to them, again, is our gift. Like, we were wired this way. We were created this way. The Most High had a very, very special plan or intention for us in wiring us the way that He has wired us. And I'm going to kind of show you how we can use our wiring to communicate with them, but starting with the way that they think, because I think it's easier for us. And I'm going to share with you one of my little tricks for doing it. So there's 3 ways to get out of your own spaghetti and into your man's box. Number 1, embrace the spaghetti, ladies. It is what it is. We crazy. They think we crazy. Everything is connected in our minds, and it's okay. Like, we're not men. We're not set up like they are. We don't have to compete with them. We don't have to be like them to be special or important. It is what it is. And this emotional way that we're set up and created for everything to be connected, hey, it's a superpower. And, I share a lot in my space as a female attorney with other female attorneys who we're often dealing with, this very male dominated kind of construct. Our ability to connect the dots and show the relation between things, man, it has definitely infuriated some of my male counterparts when I show out with that particular gift. And so, it is what it is. So embrace the spaghetti. No need to try to prove to him that you're not crazy, because you are. And this is the reason why it's really, really good to have a mature wife to kind of talk through the spaghetti with. Because sometimes, and I explain this to husbands when I'm working with them and their wives, and they're like, "Wow, you got all of that, from talking to her?" And I'm like, "Yeah, she just had to work through the spaghetti." Right? So when we're talking to other women, we get each other. Like, you don't have to break it down. You don't have to explain it. We're connecting with each other on that emotional level. Like, for real, like, we're feeling what you're feeling. So sometimes having that mature wife to kind of unpack the spaghetti, if you are having strong emotions and really needing to kind of like unpack those emotions so that you can talk to your man respectfully, civilly, and to speak in his box. Sometimes having this other woman in your life is going to be helpful. And again, because generally speaking, men who are not already kind of like female brain experts, they're not going to get it if you come at them straight from the spaghetti. It's going to be too much. So number 2, break your feelings down. So this really relates back to, embracing the spaghetti and recognizing that sometimes unpacking it with another mature wife is going to be helpful, because once you kind of get to talk through the feelings, sometimes that's what helps you articulate your feelings in a way where you can like clearly identify what you're feeling, so that you can bring it back to your man and speak to him in a way that's going to be clear, and it's going to be bite-sized, that, just enough to fit in the box. Because if we give them too much, it could just short circuit the system, right? So you want to try to find three main points and how you're feeling. So three main bullet points to identify the way that you're feeling. And in identifying the way that you're feeling here on step number 2, you put your feelings on one side, and then you get really clear on what the facts are. Where most of us step into booby traps with our men is that we begin having a conversation with our man about our feelings, and his mind is trying to understand the factual basis for why you're feeling the way you're feeling. So, like, if you can set the foundation with the facts, who, what, how, where, when, right? And you have all of that laid out, then being able to put this together with the way that you're feeling in a little bite-sized chunk that fit in his box is going to make for a more productive communication. And I know this sounds really simple. And working in this space, I was tickled the whole time that I was thinking about us as women in this space, because even though I know these things, sometimes I have to pump the brakes very, very hard on my own spaghetti, and I have to have a whole conversation with myself, or I have to unpack it in writing so that I too can remain in the box and not pop off. When you give a man too much, it brings on a surge and he starts to mouth. I'm telling you, like, bruh be like, wait. It's true, y'all. Ladies, we can handle so much input and data and all this stuff coming from different places, and we just rolling with it, and we just geeking out on it. And the brothers are like, wait, dude, let's go back to the beginning. Like, how do we get here? So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is very, very simple, but we run afoul of this whenever we slip into strong emotion. And I want to give you an example. It's a kind of silly example, but it's true how this thing goes, because the next time you find yourself needing to communicate with your man, especially if you're coming from a place of strong emotion, I'm hoping that this story will remind you of the 3 steps so that you can save some time from not having your sweetheart all frustrated and bound up. So, getting that factual foundation for the conversation with him is going to help him hurry up and understand what you're saying. And that's really what you're doing. Laying out those facts, now he can hurry up and understand what I'm saying. And if you can't lay out those details and insist on trying to make him understand how you feel, but he'll understand who, what, when, where, how, why. All I'm saying is that both of y'all may end up leaving that conversation frustrated, needing to call a timeout, come back to it later after y'all calm down. So, give you the keys to the kingdom here, right? You just gonna take the scenic route to being understood if you go with feelings first instead of the facts first. So, and I'm always open to the brothers calling me out if I'm foul, if I'm out of bounds, y'all brothers always feel free to call me out. But start with the facts, give a foundation, and then jump into your feelings. So that journey gonna take a really long time if you insist on him understanding how you feel. And you either want to be understood, or you want him to have enough information that if y'all don't see the facts the same way, at least you can agree to disagree. And sometimes I think we as women, we struggle with that a little more than men do, because we're looking for connection and understanding. And your man is not always going to agree with how you feel about the situation or how you see the situation. And this could cause you to get all crumpled up on the inside if you're seeking for him to agree with you. I will say, though, sometimes I've heard some men say, well, I don't agree with the way you feel. Men, please never say that. Never disagree with someone's feelings. When someone tells you they feel a certain way, that's their experience of the facts. You don't get to disagree with how someone experiences the facts. But again, I'm on the ladies tonight, so let me stay focused. And finally, number 3, draw the box that explains your position. Remember, you want to keep it to as few boxes as possible. My recommendation is to keep your conversation down to 3 boxes. Because even if you have 3 boxes, ladies, you're going to have to do some work to show your man how those boxes are related to each other sometimes. And if you add too many boxes, again, back to Sister Coco G's point, it will like it'll create a malfunction, right, in the men. So we want to keep it simple, a maximum of 3 boxes. So let's kind of like do a little quick let's do like a little quick example of how this works. You're going to draw the box. You're going to put one thing in each box. Then you're going to show how the boxes are connected. So this will give you a stronger foundation for your man to understand what you're saying. All right. This is going to be a story about our fictional Bill and Lena. Bill knows that Lena is a neat freak and neat freak extraordinaire. And over the years, Bill has learned how to work very, very hard to do a better job cleaning up after himself. And during the past week, though, things got really, really rough at work, a lot of work pressure. And so he kind of been slacking off because he's just like exhausted and overwhelmed and being absent-minded once he gets home about picking up after himself. So Bill also knows how important it is to Lena for her to spend time with her family. Like, she is the hostess with the mostest. She likes hosting friends and family, oftentimes over at their house, and it makes her happy. It fills up her cup. But with all of this crazy stuff going on at work this past week, Bill forgot to grab the ice last night on his way home from work. There was a party last night, and Lena was counting on him to pick up the ice, and he forgot because he's had a rough week at work. And then here's a little background. So to make matters worse, about 5 years ago, Lena was enraged and embarrassed when her family popped up over at the house, and she had not had the chance yet to pick up all of these little tidbits of Bill's mess from around the house. And he had stuff all over the house, clutter, kitchen. It was very, very embarrassing, and it erupted in a big, big fight. And this was 5 years ago. And so this is the part of where, like, I'm laughing when I think about us as women, because yes, men, we will connect an event from 20 years ago to something that happened right now. And yes, it feels as real today as it did 20 years ago. That's why this is a very, very important fact when we do our little hypothetical about Bill and Lena. So how should Lena approach the situation with Bill being messy? Because she's feeling disrespected by him suddenly relapsing this past week. And she really, really felt like she did not have his support when she needed him. And she was doing all this stuff, getting ready to host the party last night. How should she express herself? I want to start with like the default of how women, we tend to lean in on a situation like this. It's funny how all of this is highlighted, but let me just keep reading. I can't believe how selfish you are. So attack, right? This is where like the immediate aggression gonna rise up in a man. Like, okay, you're attacking me. Like, where is this even coming from? Why are you attacking me? I can't believe how selfish you are. The last time you embarrassed me like this, you promised you would be more mindful not to have me looking like a lazy fool in front of our guests. So now she completely loses him because he's like, what? What are you talking about? This is the moment for the man where he's like, oh my gosh, what just happened? What are you talking about? I'm so furious right now. I don't ever want to even host another party if I have to depend on you for anything. So in her emotion, this is a hypothetical how this could go all the way left. Left unchecked. This is how women, without some training and without some thought, we kind of lean in and we go in on the men. We completely lose them and really demoralize them. So not only did Bill catch the beat down, but he's so confused by the way she just reacted, like, what? And the whole time, this Back to the Future episode that she just hit him with from 5 years ago makes no sense. This one is a really, really big one that have men lost on female communication. How we could take something so remote in time and bring it into the present and talk about it like it just happened. This is so natural for us, and it's so it's very alienating for men when we do this. Now he's frustrated, and they're about to get into the rumble in the jungle, because not only did he's not making her happy, but she's attacking him, and now he's going to have to fend for himself, right? So this doesn't end well because she went in on him. So does anybody want to take a stab at how Lena should go ahead and break down these 3 steps of getting out of her feelings and into Bill's box? Any takers? All right, I'll go for it, y'all. So with the step 1, she can embrace her spaghetti. She needs to feel what she feels. Like, I'm not saying to any woman, don't feel what you feel. Feel what you feel, sis. Like, you might need to cry it out. You might need to shout it out. You need to write about it. You may need to pray. But process that thing before you come to him just like raw and unfiltered. But feel what you feel. I will never, ever tell a person not to feel what they feel. You feel what you feel. And, figure out how to attach words to your feelings, because once you've identified them, you need to come back to him so he can understand how you feel. What you say, sis? Trying to get this. The problem is, if she doesn't do anything, there would be something else she will pop off about. True, because it's all connected in her brain. Absolutely. That's why this is such an important thing for us to do. I don't think we talk to our men first about our feelings. I think it's healthier, and this is how I practice, and this is how I came off of being like that raging, constantly attacking. I was definitely that person. When I learned how to feel what I feel and to have this meeting with myself first and to articulate how I'm feeling, this helped me to heal and reconcile that, okay, there's a reason why I'm feeling this way. I'm not feeling this way for no reason. And yes, it's connected to something else that happened, because it always is for us. But how am I going to heal now in this space? And how am I going to invite my man into this space to help me reconcile the way that I'm feeling by participating in my healing, if that makes sense? So always feel what you feel. Do not deny this. Do not skip this step, because by not taking care of yourself and acknowledging that there's a hurt here, there's an offense here, it will come out in the way that you talk. And when you talk and you haven't resolved this, you're going to talk out the side of your neck, and then he's going to be feeling disrespected, right? So feel what you feel. Take care of yourself. So that's the first thing she needs to do. She was feeling, what was her feelings? She was feeling disrespected. She was feeling overwhelmed, and she was feeling unappreciated. And she has 100% right to feel that way under the circumstances of what she experienced. Now, step 2, she needs to break her feelings down into 3 points, 3 main points that she can come to build with. So I did it here for her. Bill has been sloppy this past week. Bill dropped the ball by forgetting to pick up the ice. And her old feelings were triggered by this whole, like the whole week. It just brought her back to a bad space from 5 years ago. So these will be her 3 main points. And now she goes into step 3 to start getting into Bill's box. So the first box, right? Remember, we're going to have 3 boxes max. The first box, she goes to Bill. I feel disrespected because you have been messy this week. And after she draws this box, she gave him some facts, and she told him how these facts makes her feel. Stop right there. Do not go into the rant. Do not start connecting all the dots. Stop. We are too quick to go in before the brother have an opportunity to like process it and respond. Because I don't know, right? Maybe let's say Bill did tell Lena that he was having a really hard week at work. This would be the opportunity that he has to say, I am so sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. You know, my mind has been gone because of everything that's going on at work this week. This is an opportunity for him to kind of absorb how he hurt her and let her know that I didn't mean it. So you want to stop between the box. And then you go on to the next box, box number 2. And then when you forgot the ice, I felt overwhelmed, right? So she draw the second box. And what do we do after we draw a box, ladies? After we draw the box, we put the one piece in there, the fact and the feeling in that one box. Give him a minute to respond. Give him a minute to process. Sometimes we, as women, are overly domineering in the argument space with our men. We got the spaghetti going on, and you know, and we connecting dots, and then we using all of our words, and we running circles around the brother, and the brother is in the box trying to make sense of a box. And now the more we talking, the more he lost sight of what box what box are we talking about. And so we need to recognize, ladies, that he needs a minute to process his box. This doesn't mean that he's slow at understanding. It's just like, okay, this is what she presenting to me. What am I going to do about it? Give him the opportunity to respond in the box. And then finally, box number 3. Now that you've taken your time and you've drawn, you know, these other 2 boxes, now when you draw this third box, you can be vulnerable and you can express, hey, this reminded me of that time 5 years ago when I was so upset with you over my people coming here and our house was looking crazy. And you promising me that, you know, you wouldn't allow something like this to ever happen again. And of course, he's gonna be looking at her like, what? Like, bruh, it's like, I have no idea how you went back to the future and brought 5 years ago into how this make you feel today, but I didn't mean anything by it. You know, like, let him take ownership, let him say what he's gonna say. If he's gonna be defensive, he's gonna be defensive. But at least you will have respected the way that he thinks, the way that he processes information, and you would have helped him to understand the way that you're thinking or experiencing the situation by at least respecting his box and keeping it down to 3 boxes. So that's what I have for you, ladies. Again, I am tickled when I think about this and how different we are, because the more that we can laugh at ourselves and embracing that this is who we are, this is how we're wired, and really understand and appreciate that we can't make our men think like we think, and we can't force them to process in the spaghetti with us the way that a girlfriend or a sister or a cousin, a female cousin would. Like, that's not okay. And so my invitation to you is to laugh at yourself the way that I laugh at myself when it comes to our differences. And I did want to share with you one of the things that I do, because it's very, very important here when talking about getting into your man's box. It is very, very important to understand that if you are a survivor of trauma, it is that much more important to create boxes for yourself, because I don't know how to explain it psychologically or neurologically, but there is a lot of like places of clutter that takes place in a traumatized mind that benefits from creating compartments to help manage all of the different moving pieces of life. And I've explained this to quite a few men who I encounter in my working life, that how I have harnessed the power of the male brain has been through having different email accounts. I have one email account that is only for my clients. Only my clients. I don't want to see mail from anybody else in this email box except for my clients. I have another email box that's all about my administration for my business. Only business administration things come to that box. I have another email box that's only for my child and everything related to my child and the stuff he got going on. I have another email account that's only for coupons. You know, when I'm signing up for stuff for free, or I want to go and see if I could get a little coupon at my favorite place to eat, that is my coupon account. And so for me, as someone who is a survivor of trauma, it helps me from getting everything kind of like jumbled, like jumbled even more than like regular female spaghetti. It's like trauma spaghetti. Like, it does help me to better manage all of the moving pieces of my life. And that's how I, as a woman, harness the power of the male brain, because I do find that compartmentalizing things helps me to focus and get more things accomplished and minimize distraction. And so that's one of my little ways of tapping into the power of the male brain. So with that, I love you all. And I thank you so much for making He Say, She Say an amazing support, encouragement, and resource to the community to help our families heal by hearing each other. Listening and being heard is such a powerful healing modality. A lot of times just talking about things and being honest and raw and what's the word? Authentic, transparent. It really does a lot to help us connect to the soul of one another and do the healing that we need to do as men, as women, as families, and as a community. And so with that, please always, if this brought any value to your life, or you know someone who can benefit from this information, pass it along, share it, like it, and support the work that we do here at Law for Love, supporting our families and our communities. With that, I love you all, and I look forward to seeing you next week.